Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
You are cruising along with Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, there's no greater feeling than when you get your brand new Harley Davidson right off the showroom floor, until you realize you can start to customize it and make it your own. And Lucas, you're with Fuel Moto. What are some of the things folks want to do right away when they get a new bike?
So one of the things that people can do after they've purchased their Harley is buy something like one of our big bore kits. And this isn't always the first step in the modification process. This is something that we offer as kind of an all-in-one deal. So right here you can see our pistons that we have made by CP Carrillo. And then also in our kits we have a wood performance cam, is a really common choice of ours for the brand and the grinds that they have. We also offer wood lifters, and we have our own cylinders here, as well as our Fuel Moto adjustable push rods. So this is kind of an all-in-one kit that can make your Harley go from a 70, 80 horsepower machine to up near 130, 140 horsepower bike.
But let's start with the pistons. What makes these special? What makes them unique?
So these are actually custom pistons made by CP Carrillo. We designed all the different specs and domes and compression ratios that we're using for these pistons. You can see here, these are a special dish kind. These are typically utilized for a 10.75 to 1 compression build in an M8 Harley. And then here, moving on to the cam, we have, like I said, a wood performance cam. He has a variety of different grinds that we use, and we actually help him develop. We also use his lifters in a lot of our builds. Here we are moving to the cylinders. They're also locally sourced, made in the USA. Then we have our push rods, which are actually also made in the USA in Wisconsin. We actually utilize a two-piece design with a locking nut on it. So basically, you'll install these just how they are, fully collapsed, and that's kind of what allows you to install them without taking the entire top end apart. You'll extend them out. You can actually just spin the lock nut down. It's simple as that once you have the correct adjustments. So that's what makes it a lot easier for things like cam swaps, and also in big bore kits like getting the correct adjustment depending on what cam you're using, and a variety of other factors in the engine.
That leads us to the a la carte items that you have that are going to help us with performance on our bike.
So when you buy a big bore kit like this from us, we support people like over the phones and over emails and all sorts of different ways that will help you get the correct combination for whatever you're looking to do. So in most big bore kits, pretty much all that we sell, with M8s for example, we'll sell you a set of injectors like these. These are also American made, that we've locally sourced. What you have sitting there is an 8.1 gram per second injector. We'll typically use something more like a 5.5 gram per second injector with a big bore kit like this. But that's one thing we'd add. Here is a AIM variable pressure clutch. That's basically just a lockup plate that prevents your clutch from slipping once you start pushing double the horsepower in these bikes. And then we also have our dyno jet tuner, which is basically our bread and butter. That's been our mainstay in the Harley industry as far as tuning goes, and we've been really successful working not only with dyno jet, but also putting in hundreds, thousands of hours on our dyno, street tuning, and remotely tuning all of our customers' bikes to get them the correct mapping and develop all sorts of mapping for a variety of different combinations and setups and motorcycles in general.
Well, let's talk about that. Your R&D that you're doing, you're not just guessing at something. You're not just computer modeling when you're sending me this kit and you're sending me all the parts that I need for my bike. How do you guys test it all and make sure it's what I need for my combination?
We have basically a full R&D facility at our shop in Wisconsin. So we have a full dyno cell that we utilize to basically put all this stuff together. So when we're first coming up with a kit like this, for example, we'll have all the components made, we'll get them in, we'll develop a variety of, for example, different cam grinds, different compression pistons. We'll try different cylinders every now and then and things like that. And we'll put it together in-house on one of our test bikes. We'll get it on the dyno, we'll tune it properly, we'll break it in, we'll see how it reacts, what kind of power it makes, and obviously we'll use that as a baseline, and that's what allows us to branch out and do a variety of different things and tune up thousands of different combinations that aren't necessarily the same from every bike and for every person.
You touched on this. Folks are getting remote tunes from you, so you can tell them what to put on their bike based on the combination they have?
We work extensively with customers on getting them the correct combination, and being in the industry and knowing what we know and working with all the different parts, especially as far as R&D is concerned, we're able to know what components work on what people's bikes to kind of help them accordingly make a combination that's going to work well. So at the end of the day, what we call is kind of our recipes that we use, so to speak, to make sure that people are happy with the outcome and they're making good power and having a bike that performs well and runs well.
How long are you guys doing the R&D on this kind of stuff?
So something like this can take up to a year for us to develop.
Oh my goodness, so you know you're getting the right thing. And oh, by the way, if you don't want to do all this yourself, you can send your bike to these guys or wheel it on into them, and they can actually do the work there at their shop. Now this is getting more in depth when we're talking the big bore kit, but what are some more basic steps that folks might want to take to upgrade their new bike?
Yeah, so a simple first step in buying something like this, like over here, a Milwaukee 8 brand new Harley, is just doing something like this tuner. We also have a full exhaust line that we carry, our Jackpot series. So we build head pipes as well as slip-on mufflers for all sorts of different applications. But for a basic stage 1 application, we'll use our jackpot systems and also coupled with our tuner to get the correct mapping. And even like one of our air cleaners is a good first step, and you can see good power gains and stuff like that with one of these bikes.
Well, if you've got a bike and you want to make it your own, check them out at fuelmotousa.com. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coating, so do not go anywhere.